Hello, everybody. We're going to change directions totally today and start talking about fractions. So what I'd like you to do, if you want to, before you even label your first page, we've been dealing with whole numbers the whole year so far. So if you even want to, in your math notebook, have sort of a fractions cover page, I'm going to move away from whole numbers into fractions for a while. If you want to pause and, I don't know, color and decorate, if you're into that in your math notebook, go ahead. After you've got a kind of a cover page for fractions, our first lesson today is going to be this, equivalent fraction strat, short for strategy. Number 1, fraction bars. We're going to learn a lot of strategies for equivalent fractions. And I want to show you the first one today. So pause now, label this as your first page for today. If you want to do one of these, decorate it however you want, be my guest. Unpause when you're ready to move on. Here we go. Okay, so in 3rd grade, you probably learned about the idea of an equivalent fraction. I think maybe you've seen something like this, where you could kind of say, okay, well, I know, say, 1/3 is greater in value than 1/4 because it's a bigger piece compared to the whole. And you could also say, if you look carefully here, you could say, oh, I can look and notice that 2/6 is an equivalent fraction to 1/3 because they're the same size. They're the same size piece. So equivalent means equal, but with different figures. And I say, okay, so not 2/3, 1/3. Sorry, 1/3 equals 2/6. Those are equivalent fractions. They're the same amount of fraction, but they are two different representations. They look different, have different numbers to them. So we're going to talk about those for the next little while. And we're going to use a similar strategy today. So let's look at these. So the first question is, are these equivalent right here? 4/8 and 1/2. When I use fractions and fraction bars, I use this website right here. I Google fraction bars ABC. And if you put in fraction bars ABC, the first thing that comes up is it. If you have an iPad, not just any device, specifically an iPad, you can get this app called Virtual Manipulatives. If you just go to the App Store and search for this, it's a free app. Looks the same, works the same, and it's really super handy on your iPad. And I would definitely recommend doing that. It has fraction bars for you. So I can pull this menu out. I'm going to go to my settings here and turn Snap Together on. And to see if these fractions are equivalent, 4/8 and 1/2, I'm going to build both those fractions and just see. So I always like to do this. I always like to start with a whole. So even as I look at these fractions, I'm kind of getting used to how much a whole is worth and how much I've got. So I'm going to pull out the whole just to look at it. And I'm going to line up a half with the beginning of it. Right about there. And then I'm going to put 4/8 under and see if they're the same. Now you've got to be really precise with this strategy to be able to tell. They've got to really line up. That's why I put that snap function on. If I get pretty close, they'll snap together like puzzle pieces. And I can see that 1/2 and 4/8, they're the same part of the whole. They're the same amount of fraction. So these two are equivalent, yes. What about 1/2 and 7/10? So I'm going to go back here. Just start over here. And here's a half. Oh, let me start with my whole, like I just said to do. And if I put 7/10 there with it, 1. Got to really line them up. If you don't have this app, I have pieces for you to use in the room, so that'll be fine too. If you don't have the app and you don't have the website. 5, 6, 7. And I would say these are not equivalent because 7/10 looks like more than 1/2. If you really wanted to be fancy, you would say no. Actually, 7/10 is more than 1/2. I can tell from my bars. And another question you often get asked is to find a fraction that is or is not equivalent to 2/5. So let's do that too. So, try my eraser again. Nope, that doesn't help. Wonder how this eraser works. Don't know. Alright, so I'm going to put out my 1, and I'm going to put out 2/5. And I'm going to try to build a fraction that is equivalent to that. So let's see, half's going to be too much. Can't use that. 1/3 is too little. 2/3 is too much. Let me clear those out. Sorry, trouble dropping it. 4ths, 1/4 is too little. 2/4 is too much. 5ths already did. 6ths. 1/6 is too little. 2/6 is too little. 3/6 is too much. And you would keep trying that until you found one. If you had good instincts, you might look and have an idea of which one you think might work. One that I happen to know, so I'm going to not try every single possibility and bore you to sleep, is if I do 10ths, I can make one line up just right. There you go. 4/10 is the same as 1/5, so I can find 4/10 is equivalent to 2/5. Those are the same amount, just written in two different fractions. I found lots of ones that were not equivalent along the way. I remember trying like 2/3. 2/3 was not equivalent. All right, and that's kind of how they work. Let's do one together. So if you have an iPad, get that virtual manipulatives app. If you're on a computer right now, Google fraction bars ABC and open this up. If you can't do either, you may just have to draw them for today and work with me. And when you're in the room tomorrow, I'll give you like the actual fraction pieces that you can hold. So let's together do these two. Are these equivalent? First, 3/4 and 5/8. So remember, if you would like, you can pause, do this, and then let me do it and see if you're right. Or you can let me do it and you can write it down. Or you can kind of pause now, do it, unpause, check the first one, then try the second one, unpause, check. However you want to do it. I want you to do this, and I'm going to do it, and make sure we jive here. So I'm going to start a new one. And let's see, I always put my 1 out. And let's see if 3/4 is equivalent to 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is not. It looks like 1/4 is more than 5/8, so I think I'll even write that. I'll say no. 3/4 is greater than 5/8. It's more. All right, how about 2/3 and 8/12? Start over. And let's see. 2/3. 8/12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look, they are equivalent. Exactly the same amount of fraction. Very nice. So 2/3 is equivalent to 8/12. And last but not least, let's find a fraction that is and is not equivalent to 2/6. I'll let you pause and do that, and then you can unpause and see the answer. I'm just going to do it, and when you unpause, it'll just be there. So pause now, and then unpause when you're ready to see some. And poof. Here are a couple. So here's 2/6. Two possibilities I was able to find. 1/3 is equivalent to 2/6. It's the same size. And also 4/12 was equivalent to 2/6. As far as, so you can write one or both of those down. 1/3 or 2/6. Oh no, that was the original one. 4/12. As far as one that is not, those are ones that are. As far as ones that are not equivalent to 2/6, just about anything is fine. How about 1/4? Too little. So I would say 1/4 is not. Okay, and that's how they work. That's how fraction bars help. This app is super helpful, but again, if you do not have the app, I have actual plastic pieces you can use for your you do together and your you do alone tomorrow. So you can practice this. But the app, if you have an iPad, again, it's only on Apple on iPad. I don't even think you can get it on a phone. I think it's iPad only, but I could be wrong. You can check, called Virtual Manipulatives. Otherwise, you can always just go to Safari or go to Chrome and do fraction bars ABC. Okay, so that is equivalent fractions strat number 1, fraction bars. And that's it. So once you feel like you've got a good handle on this, you're all set, and I'll see you tomorrow.